This week on the Steam Machine podcast, I got this new guitar pedal, and I'm going through all the sounds, and I played this one, and it just sounded like a bunch of fart noises. I think it was called Ass Effect. Cue the music! Welcome back to another episode of the Steam Machine podcast. My name is Dalton, and joining me this week are neither of the Destructo Bros. Nate is still lost somewhere in the Caribbean, totally not dead, at the bottom of the sea with a cinder block around his ankle. And Willie decided to take a forage into the Cambodian jungle for a rare mushroom. Don't know what it is. He said he was going to do that, and then something about a princess in a castle, but I'm going to let him go off and do his thing. So he'll be back from that trek whenever he decides to come. But joining me this week, I have the wonderful Mr. Grumpy.
Hey, fellas. How's it going?
And I also have our buddy from Down Under.
Will bang. Okay. That's a meme. Hello.
I got Adam and Jeff here with me. And, gentlemen, I think it's been a little bit since I've had either of you on here. How you been? What you been up to? What's new? Let's start with Adam. What you been up to, my good sir?
So I think the last time I came on was the episode that must not be named with 5 of us. Another space adventure.
Oh, right.
Believe it or not.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I just reinstalled that.
But yeah, man, I've been pretty good. Work's been keeping me pretty busy. Doing a lot of gaming, watching a lot of anime where I can. Rip Anawave.
Rip Anawave. Man, hurts my soul. Hurts my soul.
But yeah, just playing through some Mass Effect. Whether I enjoyed it or not, we will find out.
That we will, sir. That we will. What about you, Jeff? What you been up to?
Well, I just actually looking up when the last time I was on the episode was back in February. And if you recall, I said at the time I was getting ready to get married. Well, I have gotten married, and life is great.
Wonderful news, my good sir. Congratulations.
Also, I'll do a special shout out at the end, but Mr. Puzzles and I, we started a podcast.
I love that of all the people in the Discord that decided to put together a podcast, it's the two of you that have Mr. in front of your name. Mr. Grumpy and Mr. Puzzle.
We are the most respectable group of the Steam Machine community.
I won't argue that.
But yeah, the first episode has posted since then. It is about the Fallout TV show. I believe it's pretty much just about anything. You can listen to it on anything, Apple, YouTube, wherever. But we're getting ready to record again next week, so it's just one episode at a time.
I will say, I thoroughly enjoyed the first episode. I got to hear it before anybody else. It was sent to me for review to see how everything sounded, make sure just tips and stuff. And I really, Jeff, I thoroughly fucking enjoyed it, dude. So oh,
that's good.
I want you to know it was good. I laughed out loud. It was a very entertaining show. I'm looking forward to more. I can't wait to get on there and derail you guys more than you already derail yourselves. It's going to be great.
It's going to be very enjoyable, and definitely, Adam, we would like you to guest as well if it's ever.
Oh, thank you. If the time zones can work, for sure. But I can just say that I loved your guys' synergy, so please don't go in and fuck it up, Dalton.
What? Come on now. Come.
I mean, derail.
How now, brown cow? What do you mean?
Just hopefully we don't have the same tech issues we had the first episode. I don't know why, but my Discord was just taking a shit that day.
Hey, man. Better to get it out on the first one.
Yeah. That's what Dane and I both agreed on. But apart from that, apart from getting married, just working, playing video games whenever I get a chance. What the hell is behind me?
A cat.
Oh, yeah, it's just one of my cats.
He's got an axe.
He's got an axe! She, actually. But no, apart from that, that's really all I've been doing. Those are the two big things in my life.
So that's what's up, man. Those are good things. I'm glad that both of you are well. I, on the other hand, no, I'm just kidding. Things have not been too bad lately. Just been parsing through things that have happened over the last few months, and finally kind of coming to terms with some of those. Been playing some games, watching some stuff. What have I been playing? Let me pull up my Steam real quick. Let me take a little look-see here. I have been playing Skyrim, of course. I found a mod pack that I really enjoy. It's a little harder than the normal way that I play, but I'm enjoying it. It's like a new challenge for it at the game, you know. But it still has my Legacy of the Dragonborn. I still have my museum, and this mod pack that I'm using has a VR version, so I get to do my museum in VR whenever I decide to stop being lazy and hook my fucking VR up to my new PC.
I feel so upset that I'm probably never going to be able to do VR because I get severe motion sickness.
So I also get very bad motion sick, dude. So it's kind of like up in the air for me what's going to make me sick and what's not. I do plan on buying a little Dramamine to just keep on my desk in case I need it for something. But I'm of the mind, like when I played VR, a lot of times it's like rhythm games so far, like Beat Saber and Ragnarok. Those aren't too heavy in the thing. I did play some No Man's Sky and flew around a planet. Did not barrel roll. I know better than to barrel roll. That's when... Side tangent. My buddy Dustin, I might have told this on the show before, I'm going to tell it again. He got Ace Combat 7 when it came out for PS4, and he super wanted to play the VR missions. So he had me come over with my VR thing. And he had his flight stick set up and everything. And I said, bro, just be careful barrel rolling because it will make you nauseous. And that motherfucker just threw his plane into a fucking barrel roll spin. Just whoa, 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 whoa. He's like, no, I'm fine. I was like, bro, I would be throwing chunks at the screen right now if that was me in that helmet. Because I remember on the place. Now, granted, the PlayStation VR, much lower resolution, so it's more likely to make you motion sick. Like, basically, the higher resolution it is, the clearer it is, the more that it doesn't fuck with your whatever, I guess, equilibrium or however that works. But there was a game that I had on PlayStation 4 for the VR. It was called Starblood Arena or something like that, and it was like an arena shooter, but everyone was in like little space vehicle type things. And I remember playing that and having a great time. And then I needed to right my ship, so I slightly barrel rolled to the left and about fucking died inside. Like, just was like immediate, like hot flash, clammy, sweaty. Had to take it off. I was immediately like, oh no. Fucked up thing. Growing up, loved roller coasters. Still to this day, love roller coasters. But I can get on one, and when I get off of it, I'm like, oh Jesus Christ. Whoa. And I hate that because I love them so much.
It has to be the adrenaline.
I don't know, but it's rough. It's rough.
I will say last year when my family took a cruise and my brother and I were the only ones that were able to feel like the ship rocking. And it's one of those giant cruise ships, you know, it's half stabilizers. So the thing is supposed to be incredibly smooth, but I'm feeling the ship rock. But I knew this was going to be an issue, so I actually was wearing one of those Dramamine patches. You know, just stick them right behind your ear. It's just like the size of a nickel. And I was perfectly fine for the whole time. I think it was like 4 or 5 days. I was perfectly fine. Now, of course, I was still feeling the ship rock, but I never felt nauseous. So maybe that's something to try in the future. You know, if I'm going to try one of those VRs, or same with you, try a Dramamine patch.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Because, well, I'm a little skinnier than the last time I went, but I know last time I went to a theme park, it was like really sucking that motherfucker in to get some of those to click in where they needed to. And some of them just straight up, I felt like I was too tall. Like my shoulders like were too fucking up in there, and it wouldn't come down far, and I had to like slouch my body to fit in there. And I'm like, when did this become no longer comfortable for me? Like, when did I become too big to ride a roller coaster? Not even fat, just too big in general. This is bullshit. Even like the fat guy seats. Usually there was someone who was much bigger than me that was occupying those seats. They were just like, nah, you'll be okay.
How tall are you? You're 6'2", right?
Yeah, on a good day, yeah, I'm 6'2". I usually tell people 6'1.5", but yeah, about 6'2".
You're just too tall. You're vertically fat.
I'm vertically fat.
At least the
like
roller coasters over there are working. In the news in the past couple of days, because we've probably got 3 major theme parks in my state, all of which I haven't been to since I was a small child. So I didn't ride the roller coasters per se because I was too young. But these motherfuckers have been breaking down with people still on them halfway through their cycles. And I can't imagine anything worse. Dude. Anything more scary.
Are any of them like? Do they stop upside down, or is it not those kind of rides?
One of them is the like horizontal tilt-a-whirl kind of thing, where you're over water and it spins and it does rotations, and then for the last rotation it goes all the way around.
Oh,
I can't do those rides
one
anyway
of them
because
got
there's too much spinning.
Yeah,
but to be on one of those and you're just like, say, suspended, and it just decides to aim you down, where you're just staring at the ground until they can get you out.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I could never do one of those roller coasters where it goes forwards and backwards 2 times, but on the last time it goes back, it pauses for like 2 seconds. So it goes back, stops, and then drops. And every time I look at it, I'm just going, no. I'm not doing it.
I don't know why. You just gave me a great idea of what. So the Tower of Terror. You guys know what that is, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Jeff is expressing terror on his face thinking about it.
Yes, I am.
So imagine you're on that ride, right? You get to the very top. You know how it goes. Like, it just goes up, the door opens, and they have programmed that. The door opens, and you are there just long enough for your brain to process how high you are, and then they drop you, right? That's the whole shtick of it. Everyone knows, everyone's ridden it. Start every now and then letting it go all the way up and stop, and the doors open, and it doesn't drop. And then just wait, and people will be like, what's going on? And then have someone come over the PA system and be like, oh, sorry, everybody, it seems like the ride's experiencing some issues. We'll be done in just... And boom, drop them in the middle of them talking. Boo! Woo! And the people will be shitting their pants thinking they're about to die, and that's where the terror will then come back into play.
So we had one very similar to that called the Giant Drop, where it was just a straight vertical up and down. Goes up, dropped probably 2 feet, 3 feet, stopped, and then dropped again the rest of the way for that exact reason. I feel the operator was like, let's fuck with these people today.
I love those because I'll see those at like places that aren't Disney, because like, you know, Disney's got to Disneyfy their version of that. But yeah, where they just take you up in the circular tower, it takes you all the way to the top, and then they drop you and it bounces and you come. Sometimes they'll drop you, bounce you, come back up, and then they drop you all the way down. Not that long ago in Orlando, there was a kid that got on one of those. He was a big kid, but he was 14, and he was not secured in that motherfucker properly. And it dropped, and when it did that sudden stop at the bottom, he slung out of his seat and splatted on the ground right in front of everybody. And like, bro, ever since then, being a fat guy, I'm like, I might not ride those rides anymore. It's kind of like, was it John Panay? He had that, I don't do ups. Ups defy gravity. Gravity's a law. I obey the law.
I've been watching clips of those. My God, man. I got into his comedy very late in life. You know, I think like within months before he passed away. I was like, my God, this guy was hilarious.
Dude, somewhere over the buffet, potatoes piled high. So good.
I want to try something, but I think it would be considered racist and insensitive, so I'm just going to say... Free Willie.
I was gonna say, I know the one bit where he's like, "You've been here 4 hours. You scare my wife." Like, it's so fun. It's in hindsight a little culturally insensitive, but it's a funny bit.
But the clips I see, they're just like, I guess, the shorts on YouTube. They're being viewed by a couple of Asian gentlemen, and they're laughing their asses off. So it's just like, yeah. He's kind of making fun of us, but it's true. It's funny. Something I've noticed in my internet, not sleuthing, but my internet browsing over the course of basically my entire life since AOL days, is that more often than not, when someone gets offended at a joke that they think is racist, it's almost never the race of the person who the joke is about that's getting mad. More often than not, it's a white girl. Just gonna throw that out there. Like 90% of the time, it's a white girl just being like, that's culturally insensitive. Meanwhile, like, the brother next to her is laughing his ass off at whatever joke was said. And then people say that, like, I know people are going to be like, oh my God, Dalton's a Trumper. Fuck no, I'm not. Fuck that motherfucker. Let me just go ahead and throw that out there right now. Absolutely not. But when it comes to not a political podcast.
When it comes to comedy, I am all about comedy is comedy. Some comedy might not be for you, but like more often than not, there's no malice in comedy. It's all just joking, be it a dirty joke, a joke about race, whatever. Because let me tell you, I watch Eddie Murphy Richard Pryor, all those dudes who make fun of honkies, and I crack the fuck up because it is funny. It's true. More often than not, what they're saying is absolutely true about white people because, yeah, we're fucking weird. Like, there ain't no getting around that shit. That's why I always laugh online when I see man, that's some white people shit. Goddamn right it is. Absolutely. Like, none of the black guys that I know would go to somewhere like Jurassic Park, for instance. They'd be like, absolutely not. They have more sense. Whereas, like, some rich white girl's gonna be like, oh my god, yes, I'd love to take a fucking selfie with a velociraptor. Are you kidding me? That would be so cool. No.
What's that? I'm gonna go beyond the fence to get a nicer picture. Ah!
Days since incident /0. But yeah, anyway, that's what I've been up to. There's a whole bunch of nothing. And I've been at home by myself for a week. So it's like, other than like when I went to go see my grandma to take her some ribs that I cooked, I haven't really talked to anybody but my dog. So this is me rambling.
Hey man, we've seen the food you've been cooking. It looks delicious.
Yeah, I'm so happy with that smoker I got. You know, when I went there, the one that I saw on display, they didn't have in the back, but this one next to him, or the one that I wanted that they had on the display, they didn't have in the back, but the one next to it was damn good too. But I was like, but you know, it's a lesser model. But no, I am absolutely fucking happy with it. If I ever upgrade, I'll go to that other one that's a little bigger. But for starting out, dude, I'm thrilled. I smoked a meatloaf last night, delicious. Getting my ribs down to the point that, so they say competition barbecue ribs, which don't get me wrong, I'm not looking to be in competition barbecue. Too much stress for me. But they say that they should be pretty and they should have a good bite. And competition ribs should not fall off the bone. Now, when I would do ribs on my grill, they wouldn't fall off the bone. They'd be tender. They'd have a good bite to them, all that stuff. When I do them on the smoker, I let them smoke for like 2 hours, take them off, wrap them in tinfoil with a butter bath, throw them back on there for an hour, take them off, sauce them, throw them back on there, let the sauce tack up and get nice and sticky, take them off, they're done. By that time, bro, you pick up your rib, you can just slock bone right out of it and just eat the meat. And it's like, how is this not what competition wants? This is fucking tender and delicious and it melts in your mouth. I don't know. I don't get it. People are strange.
We celebrated my mom's birthday this past weekend, and my brother, I think the brand is Traeger or something like that.
Traeger.
It's a Traeger.
Yeah.
He smoked a ham for like 3-4 hours with some hickory pellets.
Yeah.
Dalton, let me tell you, that ham was delicious.
That is on my list of things to still try. I haven't done yet. I want to smoke a ham. I want to smoke a turkey. I want to smoke a brisket. And I want to smoke a bologna roll. I know you're looking at me weird, Jeff, but like...
But before you tell me what it is, I told you this in Discord. What you need to try next time you smoke a meatloaf: take a couple hard-boiled eggs, wrap the meat, or like put them inside the meatloaf, and then smoke it. It just adds a little extra that I can't describe. It's just nice taking a bite of meat. Oh, and there's some egg with it.
I mean, I can see that in theory, because people put like fried eggs on their burgers and stuff, so I can see the link between beef and egg. I'd be willing to try it. It's one of those things that I've seen in practice. I'll look at it and I'm like, oh, it's a little strange. But hearing somebody that I know say it's worth a try, then I'm willing to give it a try. So yeah, I'll give it a shot and report back.
Anyway, bologna roll. Enlighten us.
Okay, so you know how you can buy like packs of bologna sliced in the store, right? Well, you can also buy the roll of bologna before it's been sliced. It's just a big hunk of meat, right?
Yeah.
Not like a big pill looking thing. You take that and you score it and you put slits down one side and then slits the other way around it, and you smoke it. And you smoke it for a few hours, and it puts a nice smoke ring on it, but doesn't quite warm it up all the way through. I think you could let it smoke a little longer and it would, but this video that I watched, the guy did this. Then he took it, cut it into thick slices, and just quick seared it in a pan, and then put it on a sandwich, a little mayonnaise. Oh, bro, it looks so good. I love bologna, right? It's like I love Spam. And people were like, oh, God, Spam can't. I'm like, listen, if you cook it right. My dad was one of these people, and he is now a believer. I'm like, you have to cook that Spam till it's a little crunchy. You don't, no floppy Spam. Never, ever, ever. You get a nice slice, and you crisp it up on both sides. Oh, dude, on a piece of bread with some egg and some Spam, little mayo, or whatever your condiment of choice. Oh, delicious.
You caramelize it a little, so it brings out a little sweetness to it. It is excellent.
Adam, do you have Spam down there?
Yeah, I trust your opinion because I know how good a cook you are. But if you can't identify what animal the meat comes from, for me, I'm not big on it.
That's fair. You know what's funny is I eat bologna, I eat Spam, I buy all beef hot dogs. I'm just weird like that. I'm like, I don't want pork and chicken in my hot dogs. Give me a Nathan's all beef hot dog. Hebrew National's not bad, but I like Nathan's.
Now let me ask you this, because we were talking about Gordon Ramsay and Patreon. Have you ever attempted or considered making a beef Wellington?
No. It looks stupid complicated. Granted, I bet my dad would try, because my dad's into trying intricate shit like that. I am so much more like, oh, me put meat over fire. Me make meat taste good. Now, don't get me wrong. I do like, you've seen me do intricate dishes and stuff like that too. I do enjoy doing that, but there is just so much room for error with a beef Wellington. And it's really just dealing with puff pastry because there's such thin layers. I am so bad about tearing shit like that. I'm so bad. Like, I am shocked that I can roll a joint because, like, sushi, trying to roll sushi, it's either going to be fat and big old roll of sushi or it's going to be torn because I just can't.
It all comes out the same way.
That's very true. You can just give me the ingredients to a sushi in a bowl and I will just eat that.
Oh.
Yeah, my dad used to cook Wellingtons a couple of times when I was a kid, and he just mastered it. And I think I'm an okay cook. Not to his level by any means. I don't think any of us will ever surpass our fathers in their cooking prowess. But yeah, I tried and failed miserably, so never again.
I certainly can't cook well because I love grilling, but where I live, our association only allows electric grills. And my electric grill is terrible. I cooked some pork kebabs this past weekend. On a normal grill, it will take 30 minutes, 45. You want to get like the nice tender crispiness to that. It took me over an hour and a half.
Ooh. Now, okay, so the pit boss that I have, that's a smoker, but I can turn it goes all the way up to 500 degrees. So if you need to grill something, you can. Technically, I have to plug it in to the wall for it to run, to make the auger work, to get the pellets to come down. So is that like you could get something like that? It would be a workaround because it's technically electric, or is it just an electric burner straight up?
It has to be an electric burner. If they find out if it burns anything other than, or if it's powered by anything other than electric, even if it's wood pellets, I'm sure we'll get some sort of fine.
Yeah, don't get fined. It's not worth that.
So I'll just wait until it comes time where I'm going to buy the missus and I a house. And then I'll get myself a damn nice grill or smoker, whatever is the best recommendation.
Hell yeah, I can't wait to see what you make on it, my good sir. Oh man, I always talk about food. I think the last time I ate was like 6 hours ago. Whenever we're done here, I'm definitely going to go get some leftovers, be it meatloaf or the pizza that I ordered today because I was lazy because I spent all yesterday cooking. But yeah, we played a game, gentlemen. We played
Did we?
A little game.
Did we?
I think we did something.
Did I miss something?
Something about an effect of mass proportions.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm out of here. See you guys.
I'll tell you what. Let me remind you with this article right here from the obligatory Wikipedia bullshit. Mass Effect is the game we played, and it is a military science fiction media franchise created by Casey Hudson. The franchise depicts a distant future where humanity and several alien civilizations have colonized the galaxy using technology left behind by advanced precursor civilizations. The franchise originated in a series of video games developed by BioWare, originally published by Microsoft Game Studios on the first two games and its expansions. Later on, the series was taken over by Electronic Arts. As per usual for most things, it's just EA just eats them up. Each installment is a third-person shooter with role-playing elements. The first three games form a trilogy in which the player character's Commander Shepard attempts to save the Milky Way from a galaxy, a race of ancient hibernating machines known as the Reapers. The inaugural video game in this series came out in 2007, but I believe that all of us played the remaster, which I do not remember. This article does not tell me when that came out. Yes,
2021, I think. Sorry,
2021, Mass Effect Legendary Edition. So I'm not gonna lie. Growing up, I had a couple friends who got fucking really into Mass Effect 3 and its online multiplayer, to the point that I lost them for like 8 months. They did not want to do anything but go home and play that game together. So I did not have my two friends for a while, unless like I happened to talk them into getting away to come hang out with me for a little while to do something else. So I never really got into Mass Effect because it was like, I just watch you guys play this multiplayer. It does not look interesting to me because I never saw any of the story. You know what I mean? So this was a breath of fresh air for me in a certain sense. We'll get to like how the actual game was, but I'm more interested in you guys. What was your first forays into this? I will go Jeff. You're in a black and white chair.
Yes, I am. So, what is my foray into this series?
Yeah, what got you into it?
Well, let's put it like this. I basically had the same sort of opinion that you did. It's just like, Mass Effect, what do I care? So, for many years, I didn't care about this series until a coworker, a buddy of mine, said he bought the Legendary Edition. And he's been telling me how good it is. So I was like, you know what? All right, fine. I'll bite the bullet. It's on sale right now with the PlayStation Network. So I bought it. I bought the Legendary Edition. And that was my foray into the series. So I literally the first time I played this series was the start of my 2-week vacation for when I was getting married.
Oh, okay. So relatively recently then.
Yes, in the past couple months.
For some reason, I was thinking that you had played it once before that, but now that I'm thinking about it, I think that was you were talking about a Star Trek.
I mean, I definitely played. I've been playing Star Trek Online for many years, but okay, I'll be brutally honest. My brother at one point let me borrow his 360, and he said I need to play Mass Effect 2. So it's like, start 2. Everyone says 2 is great, but I started the game. 5 minutes in, I realized, what am I missing? What the hell is going on? So I immediately shut it off, and I never touched the series again until a couple months ago.
Okay. And Adam, what about you, bud?
So I am the complete opposite to you two gentlemen. I was an original adopter of this game back in 2007 for the Xbox 360, and I've also got a long history with BioWare. So going through what BioWare games I'd actually played, because I've had that time with KOTOR, Jade Empire, Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, Neverwinter Nights, long history of CRPGs with BioWare. Their first game, Shattered Steel, which is like a mecha shooter. So think like Ace Combat but with mechs.
Oh, okay.
I remember playing this on my next door neighbor's computer, PC, DOS, probably like 1996, 97. And just scrolling through that list unlocked a core memory for me. So I remember back in 2007, I was working for EB Games, which is your guys' version of GameStop.
Okay.
I just got an Xbox 360. It was that bundle that came with Viva Pinata, Forza Motorsport 2.
This is a dumb question. EB Games stands for Electronic Boutique, right? Wasn't that what it was?
Correct.
I thought that was a cooler name than GameStop. The Electronic Boutique. It just sounds so much more fancy.
Do you remember what GameStop was before? Did you ever have a Funko Land?
Oh, if I do remember that, it's been a long time.
Yeah, it was definitely like an 80s, 90s video game store. I don't remember when they went under or they were bought out by GameStop, but that's what it was before.
Oh, man, the remnants of mall stores and stuff.
So, Adam, continue.
No, you're right. So I had my Xbox 360, came in the bundle with the 2 games. So I didn't like either of those games at the time. So I traded them in and I bought Assassin's Creed, BioShock, and Mass Effect. 2007 was a fucking amazing year.
I was going to say,
for
what
gaming,
a lineup.
let me just say.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And what caught my eye with Mass Effect, because I didn't know that it was BioWare despite playing heaps of BioWare games in the past. And I just saw, because of the rating, because it had a sex scene on it. And like, I was 19 at the time. And what else is a 19-year-old boy want? It's at video games and sex.
Absolutely.
Come on. And we're in Australia. We're the second heavily most censored country for video games, I think, apart from Germany.
Is it behind Germany?
So I'm like, all right, I'm definitely getting this. And I just fell in love with the storytelling. Played through the whole series, except Andromeda. I haven't played through that yet. But overall, this was my fourth complete playthrough of the game.
Can I ask what's everyone's hard on against Andromeda? Because I own it. I loaded it up. See, I have no experience with the original trilogy. Let me just throw that out there. So that might have been when I loaded into Andromeda, I played a couple hours of it and I'm like, this is enjoyable. This is a very pretty game. Why did everybody hate this so much? Granted, again, I only played a couple hours. So it could be that game completely falls apart and I have no idea. But like I was watching just today to kind of refresh, because I beat Mass Effect like a week ago, just to refresh myself. I watched a little like a retrospective video, shout out to Salt Factory. Yep. And he was talking about how he loves the Mass Effect series. And he goes, not Andromeda. Andromeda's shit. And then next thing he says, I didn't play Andromeda. And I'm like, well, then how do you know it's shit?
Yeah. So I don't think it's shit because, again, I haven't played it. But I was a very late adopter to whatever generation Xbox One, PS4 was. So I got that probably about 3-4 years into its life cycle. So Andromeda was like pretty much a release title. So it was very early on. And I didn't have a good PC at the time. So I had no way to play it. And by then, a lot of the controversy is simply people wanting Shepard and it not being Shepard. Because across the trilogy, Shepard becomes this character that becomes the player, essentially. You spend so much time across the 3 games in Shepard's world that anything that isn't Shepard's world, people are against.
Now, you both have beaten the trilogy, so I don't have to worry about it with y'all. Spoilers for listeners. Skip ahead like 30 seconds, maybe to a minute, if you don't want spoilers for Mass Effect 3, because this is my question. Isn't technically the canon ending of Mass Effect 3 Shepard sacrifices himself in one way or another to, like, you can either bring the Reapers back or Shepard sacrifices himself, and then they had to, like, patch in a third ending because people just shit their pants about it?
Do we want to say it now, or do we want to wait until Mass Effect 3? Because I do know the answer to this, but I just don't know if I want to spoil it for the people that have not played the trilogy yet.
Okay, so without spoiling it then, wouldn't it make sense canonically that Shepard's story wrapped up one way or another? And that it's like Andromeda being a new thing would make sense, or am I off in thinking?
Short answer is no.
No, okay.
Yeah, so Andromeda takes place timeline-wise between 2 and 3 in another galaxy completely. So not anywhere even on Shepard's radar.
It's a spin-off, essentially.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so people were just expecting another Shepard game. They didn't get another Shepard game. Okay.
I also heard that another reason why Andromeda was so poorly received, especially at launch, was due to performance.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see. Me coming in probably 2 or 3 years after it came out, I'm sure that it's probably been patched out by now.
Correct, yes.
Okay. So, all right then. Well, then maybe one day we'll play it for the show and we'll be like the bastion for like, hey, Andromeda doesn't suck that bad, everybody. Like, I don't know. It's like maybe we'll do that and then we'll give our favorite Nickelback songs.
One thing I will give Andromeda, you can jump in combat, which we'll get to combat eventually, I'm sure. But I have my thoughts on combat in number 1, at least.
Let me tell you, after playing so many newer RPGs, it's really interesting to go back to one that did Mass Effect. Mass Effect doesn't have a jump button, right?
No.
Yeah, that's weird to go back to when you're going back. It's like what was the other game I was playing recently? I think it was Dragon Age. Yeah, Dragon Age. You can't jump, and it's just odd.
There is one thing that the trilogy later on adds to combat, and it actually becomes a necessity to help make Shepard quicker, and that's launching yourself over obstacles. So, like, if you're standing behind a cement girder, there is a leap over action. So instead of you having to run around, you could just leap over it.
Okay, so see, that would be really helpful, because this can be a free-form discussion. We don't have to go through beat by beat, because that brings up a point that I wanted to make, and it's just something that annoyed me about this game. And I do have good things to say, I promise, listeners. So stay tuned. But one of the annoyances I had was that I would auto duck behind a wall if I was if I accidentally pushed walk towards it. So like if I'm trying to run towards a doorway and I don't completely clear the doorway and I clip the corner as I'm trying to run through it, he would just like press his shoulder up against the corner and then boom. I'm like, oh, that just took away all my momentum. Then I'm trying to spaz to get him to move away from the wall, and I'm getting littered with bullets and plasma shots, and I'm like, fuck. I'm trying not to wake up the puppy sleeping next to me, but just fuck, Shepard. Do what I'm fucking telling you to do. For God's sakes, man. Your life is at stake here.
Well, another thing I find funny is Shepard is supposed to be this muscular, like really in shape soldier, you know, someone that's supposed to be like the best of the best. He can only sprint for like 5 to 7 seconds before he's completely out of breath. It's like, Shepard, lay off the cigarettes,
dude. It's the phasmophobia sin of like, yeah, your character smokes like 6 packs a day or something because you could run all of 10 steps and then you're like, oh fuck, oh somebody give me a cheeseburger. Dude.
So the sprint was actually changed for the Legendary Edition. And I'm going to preface all the good stuff I said about this game by the last time I played it was 2012. So I've come back into the Legendary Edition first time playthrough with a real fresh critical look, I feel, because I've matured quite a bit critically on what games are into Mass Effect 1. Sprint wasn't even there in the initial. It was that animation where developers speed up the animation, but it doesn't actually change your movement speed to look like sprint's happening. Like the horses in Oblivion and Dragon Age Inquisition, I think.
Yeah, where it's like they look like they're moving fast. You're really not moving that much faster.
Yeah.
It's like you might be moving a half a step quicker than you normally would. That's about it. Like,
yeah, one thing apparently that's very notorious for that is when you're out trying to sprint on a citadel, where the speed of running does not increase. It just alters the view of the camera. I think like it pushes it back to give like the illusion that he's sprinting, but in reality he's running the same speed.
That is sinful, BioWare. That is sinful. So let's go ahead and just get the bad stuff out of the way, because I personally think the best part of this game was the story. So like we'll touch on that for sure. But like, okay, where in their mind now? Okay, let me preface this. I told you boys this before we started recording. You guys both might have way more to say about side content than me, because I apparently golden passed this game without trying, because I did like 5 missions, 6 missions, and the next thing I knew, I was heading to the final planet to go take care of business. And I was like, oh shit, okay. So I somehow avoided all of the character interaction, all of the character side quests. I somehow didn't get booty. There was a few different things that didn't happen, but like, what in their right fucking mind did they think when they were designing all of the driving sections? For one. 2, this game came out after Halo, correct? Yeah, it had to have come out after Halo, way after Halo. Halo nailed what they were going for with driving with the Warthog. Why they didn't just copy that, I don't know. But like the fact that you move with one stick and the other stick controls your gun, but like also moves the camera, but then your shit doesn't move with the camera, so you're just, it's legit, I guess, tank controls. But it was rough.
That's what it is. It seems like they tried to copy what Halo did, and they thought, well, no, let's try to make it even better. And they actually, so instead of just having the camera focus your turning, you're still able to control your turns. So even though if you're like in one particular instance when you're on Pharos, you're driving along the long highway, just a straight path. Your camera is dead center. And yet, because of the way that the left joystick or how the controls for how you're able to do individual steering, my Mako, the tank, is still going like a little bit back and forth.
Oh yeah, squirrely as shit.
It's squirrely as shit, exactly. But to be real, go ahead, Adam.
I was just going to say, so there's 2 options that you can actually change the Mako controls that they updated for the Legendary Edition. So I can't remember which one it was, whether it was the original game or the Legendary, where you steer by the turret. So the way that the turret is facing is the way that the Mako will go. Is that what you guys had for your driving experience?
No.
Okay, you guys had on the old option then. You can change it to an upgraded.
See, apparently there were a few different options like that in the menu that I did not know about. that were like switching it from the old way to a new way. I can't remember the other one, but there was another option that Salt Factory brought up that I was like, son of a bitch, I wish I'd have known that was there.
Are you talking about
system?
the level system?
Oh yeah. He turned off auto leveling. That wasn't on for me. I must have shut that off one time loading up the game before, but I don't like auto level systems in most games. I like to kind of have control over my builds.
Well, I'm not referring to that because I'm the same. I had auto level off, but it gives you the option. Do you want the classic leveling or do you want the new leveling? Because it actually does matter, because if you choose classic, you can go all the way up to level 60 and the legendary is only capped at level 30.
I think I went with the level 60 option because I was like, well, yeah, I want to be a higher level.
Yeah.
Which I guess from what I read, it was like, it's the exact same. It's just you get everything twice as fast, basically. And I'm like, well, I did not at one point in this game like feel like I was under leveled for anything I was doing.
No.
They were very good about like the fact that the final, not the final boss, but the final boss, where you have to fight. Oh, my fucking brain just blanked on his name. I wanted to say Garrus. That's not who I'm trying to think of. Saren, yeah. So you have to fight him. You can end that with a fucking dialogue option, which I love. Yeah. That's a BioWare thing that I love, is that they're all about that shit. It's like they have a few games where it's like you can go through them with relatively little to no combat, which is kind of cool, in my opinion. You know, if the people want to go through and they want to try to do a passive run, you can, and I think that's pretty sweet.
Well,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, one thing that this series does fantastic is the fact that my buddy and I, we discuss this a lot because we're both just madly in love with this series now. This series has consequences.
Yes.
Your actions lead to consequences. And one of the biggest ones, I'm sure we'll get into later on, is who lives and who dies. And then that affects the rest of the series. So that's one thing that BioWare did amazing with this, is there are consequences.
Now, Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong. You prefer sci-fi over fantasy, correct?
I do.
Okay. So I'm going to recommend this with a grain of salt because you're not really a big fantasy person. A game that does that really well, where like you'll do a side quest and not think about it, and then 60 hours later, it really can fucking go one way or another because of that, is The Witcher 3.
I've been told I need to play The Witcher.
Dude.
And I definitely will, because those kinds of games, you know, it's not heavy fantasy like, say, Harry Potter or you know what I mean. Yeah. But it's fantasy light, more along the lines of, say, Skyrim, Zelda. You know, it's like it's a fantasy world, but yet it's really not.
Yeah, I would consider it like there's low fantasy, which is like King Arthur stuff where there's dragons, but there's really no magic and stuff like that. And then there's true fantasy. I would consider The Witcher like a nice mid fantasy game where there's some magic, there's some mythical type stuff going on, but it's never really over the top. And I warn you, that game is bleak. But it's very good. It is one of the best stories I've ever played in a game, and I'm not trying to overhype it to you. You know, definitely draw your own.
Now everyone I hear says it's a great game, and I will one day play it. But it's just one of those things of, well, what do I want to play? A game that's just like I'm going to put so much time in, or what I've actually gotten back into once I finished my replay through of Mass Effect 1, and that is Stranded Deep, which I call Castaway the movie, which is you're stranded on a tropical island trying to survive.
So, quick fun fact, and then we can get back to talking about Mass Effect, I promise. You talking about Stranded Deep made me think. The other day, I got a game called Survival. Oh, motherfucker. Hold on. Let me go double check. Survival. Oh my God, I have too many games. Survival Fountain of Youth, right? And I got it because, you know, I love St. Augustine. And Florida, I don't necessarily love Florida, but like I'm from here and all of that. Well, this game is you were part of Ponce de Leon's crew and you're shipwrecked, and then you have to survive in basically the islands that are on the outskirts of Florida. So I was like, oh, dude, I got to check that out. That's some of my history there, and like finding letters and stuff from Ponce de Leon. It's been kind of cool. And the Fountain of Youth is in St. Augustine. So, or, you know, quote, the Fountain of Youth.
Sure.
So quick fun fact, while my parents are there, I had mentioned this one place I've never actually been in St. Augustine. I've gone to all kinds of places and say I've never been to the Fountain of Youth. My parents were like, oh, neither have we. So they decided to go there. And they were like, well, we drank from the Fountain of Youth. I was like, did you? How was it? Do you feel younger? My mom goes, it's sulfur water. And I was like, oh, oh, and you drank it? More power to you. Like sulfur. That's like, oh, let me have this sip of water while my nose is just filled with egg smell. But
sounds intoxicating.
But now they can say they drank from the Fountain of Youth. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you suck it up because you can tell the story and you can tell people it tasted delicious if you want. My mom's just going to be honest with me because, you know. So anyway, Mass Effect, gentlemen. Combat.
I mean, if...
Oh, go ahead.
Let me just say one final thing about the driving.
Yeah.
I didn't really hate it. I mean, yes, it can be annoying, but I didn't really hate it. It's just the planets you land on are very uninformative. It just seems like, okay, I'm just going to go to this location here. Well, it's on top of a mountain face, and there's no clear way. It doesn't tell you what way you're supposed to go. It's just one of those things of you have to explore. So I think that's the worst thing about the driving. It's not the driving itself. It's just how the game doesn't tell you. It's not informative enough.
I will give the Mako this though. That motherfucker can go up the steepest angles.
Yeah.
If you get it going properly, you can get up anything. A problem I had on the actual planets themselves. It took me ages to find out how the fuck to get off a planet and go back to the Normandy. So you had to press start, go into your map, and then return to Normandy when you were exploring a base planet, one of the side quest planets, for example.
Now, is this the original or the legendary?
No, legendary. So whether I didn't change an option there,
all it was
I had
for
something
me
set to classic.
For
How
me,
did you get back to the Normandy?
By pressing square on my controller. It gives me the option. And do you know how many times I accidentally hit square and it says return to Normandy? No, it was an accident.
Oh, okay.
I didn't map it or anything. That is a standard control. Now, granted, you have to be in the tank, but nonetheless, that is a standard control. It's just, press square. Okay, return to Normandy. Yes, I'm ready. So you had to... Now, granted, that is an option for me as well. If I go into the map and I hit square, it will ask me, return to Normandy. But I could just be driving around. If I hit square, the game will pause and say, it'll ask me if I want to return.
Oh, that's horrible.
I will tell you, there was one planet. So when I first started this game, I was like, okay, I'm going to see if I can land on all the planets and see what's going on with them. Then I noticed that a lot of them were just descriptions of these different planets and stuff, which was cool. I loved the sci-fi aspect of that. Then I landed on one that was like, yeah, you can run around on this one. I was like, oh, cool. So I land, get in my vehicle, I'm driving around aimlessly, and I see like this, it was a distress beacon. I know that's what it was. I got a distress beacon. So I'm just like puttling around, and I start approaching this thing. I was like, oh, the distress beacon is coming from this direction. Big space worm. Starts shooting shit at me. I'm like, oh my God. So it fucked me up because I panicked and completely forgot how to steer the vehicle. Right. So like, I got fucked up. I loaded back in, went back in there, and made that thing eat its own dick. But that first time, I was just not expecting. I was just like, what the fuck is this, Tremors? And then, I got fucked up. Like,
that's one of my favorite side quests.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Because if you don't know the Thresher Maw is coming, it's so fucking great.
Even if it's just a random planet, it's just like there's an anomaly or something like that. The map doesn't tell you. It just basically says there's something here or here. So if you arrive at a location, a random Thresher Maw could appear.
Those things, man, that thing was not joking around. So I no longer landed on planets willy-nilly.
Well, let's just say about the Thresher Maw, we'll get there.
Fair enough. So let's talk about some combat. Wasn't the best combat I've ever played, wasn't the worst combat I've ever played. It was very bland.
It's awesome.
It's basic. It's very basic.
I understand that like people always like what I always hear is that Mass Effect gets really good at number 2, right? The gameplay just comes together. They really got their shit together with number 2. And I look forward to that because, like I said, the best part about this game was the story, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens more with that. But holy shit, I hope combat is not as stiff, because I just felt like, and you know, both of you I'm sure can comment on this, some of the enemies, like it just felt like bullets. They just ate them for no reason.
So there's a reason why I skip number 1 so much, and the combat is the main reason. I even had to Google about whether there were dice rolls going on in the background for this combat, because it felt like I was playing Fallout 3 or KOTOR. Yeah. And there's not, but apparently there's stats going on, because yeah, very much the same. I was hitting this dude in the head a million times and it just wasn't making a dent at all.
Which, coming from like some of the more recent games I've played where, you know, a few well-placed shots to the head puts down an enemy, and some of these dudes, it was like, man, you should have no face by now. None. Your head should be a remnant of what was, but they still came coming. Those goddamn Geth.
One thing I do appreciate with the combat, even as basic and bland as it is, it does allow the option of upgrades. And I do appreciate how you can find multiple weapons from combat, or you could purchase them from a vendor. And not only that, you're able to buy upgrades to go along with that weapon, so it completely changes your shot, or it benefits you in multiple ways.
I hate to admit this. I think I was like on the planet before I figured out, oh, all those things I've been picking over weapons mods, oh, let me attach these and see what they do. Like, change to the game. But yeah, I went for a long time without that. So I was just really trying to just raise my stats for my assault rifle or whatever, you know, trying to, oh man, it was just.
Well, one thing I figured out at the end of my last playthrough is I figured out the perfect combinations where my assault rifle never overheated and my sniper rifle was a one-hit killer. Now, it's just a matter of what combos and mods you're putting in with that weapon.
What
the ones from...
Oh. No, please go ahead.
I was just going to say, the ones from that Spectre requisition store at the very start of the game on the Citadel have the best weapons in the game, if you can afford them.
Which I did.
Yeah.
What classes did y'all roll with? I just went soldier.
I went infiltrator because...
And I went...
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I went bland bitch soldier as well.
I went infiltrator just because it was a heavier perk towards sniper rifle and stealth. It's just like, ooh, sniper rifle. That's me. Because every game I'm in or I play, I always loved sniping. Borderlands, Serious Sam, whatever game allows me to have a sniper rifle, I am using a sniper rifle.
Did you get this week's free Epic games? Because one of them is a sniping game.
I have not.
It is.
I actually haven't. I haven't been on Epic in so long.
Okay, well, it's Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts or something like that. So it might interest you if you're into sniping. But so I went soldier, and I learned something again watching that salt pack. So I played through this entire game, rolled credits, and I missed so fucking much of it. I am so shocked. Right? The Salt Factory video, I realized that there are like prestige classes of sort. No idea. I beat the whole fucking game as a soldier. Never upgraded to any of the shit that was the better classes. I feel like a dummy. I feel like how did I get through this whole game and miss so much? I don't understand.
It sounds to me like you need to have another playthrough.
I really, like, at this point, after I watched that video, I'm like, there's a whole other part of this game that I could play through and see for the first time. That's wild to me.
Because this game is not long. Even my this recent playthrough, which I found out there were missions I never did, so it adds like a little bit extra to it, I still beat it within 25 to 30 hours.
I think how long to beat the Golden Path is like 17 hours.
Yeah. I skipped a lot of combat, and I was dialogue in the first half of the game because I just remembered it. I ended with 14 hours.
So yeah, it's definitely doable. Like, you know, you got a weekend that you want to kill. You could knock out in that Mass Effect for sure. I was just gonna say, when I was getting married and I had 2 weeks off, I beat the first Mass Effect game in probably 2-3 days. I just could not stop playing it. I just it hooked me. And I believe 2 and 3 are much longer games, correct?
They are.
Yeah. Well, to me, it's almost like this one was like a proof of concept. They were like, we know we have a cool story. Let's show the people. And then if it warrants a sequel, then we'll have money to put into it. Then we can really see what we can do. That's the way I look at it, at least.
Well, another great thing is what you just said. This was a proof of concept. And yet here's BioWare and all its writers. Now, we're not going to go through all this lore because there's so much of it, there's no point to it. So this is actually my only recommended shout out if you want to listen to this kind of stuff. It's called Mass Effect Lorecast. And that's if you want to listen to all the different, like an hour-long podcast of them talking about the Krogan or what happened during the Rachni Wars, which is stuff that they will go through in heavy detail. I strongly recommend it.
Wasn't that podcast is done by now, right? Because wasn't that the Fallout Lorecast people who had a spin off of that?
It's all made by the same guy.
Okay, I thought so.
I think it's still going. Like 3 years. I just started, and he started like 3 years ago. So.
Oh, okay. Then I'm thinking of a different show that was covering mass. Oh, you know what? No, it was Dragon Age that I'm thinking of. Same company, BioWare, but different game. There used to be the Dragon Age Lorecast back in the day. That one was a fun one. Yeah. So, do you boys want to talk a little bit about the story stuff? Did either of you have any more to talk about combat?
Well, if we're talking about the negatives still, I'm going to give you my biggest complaint about this game.
Oh, please.
It is its repetitiveness.
Yeah,
and it's something that Dalton, you didn't quite get because you didn't do a lot of side missions. But you go to locations, and there's literally only maybe 2 formatted locations for when you're going inside, like either a bunker or a cave. It's all the same layout. So eventually it's just like doing all these missions again. Okay, I gotta go here. Oh, it's the same layout. It's all the missions are very repetitive, but it does help when there's dialogue to help push it.
That was one thing I saw in that Salt Factory video. The Prestige class quest, he said, was one of the most annoying quests in the game because you have to go to this planet and there are like these 3 big bunker things. You have to go into one. There are these robots who can one-shot you with like a missile launcher type thing. You got to get past them, destroy all of these conduits, which he said took like 17 pistol shots because he didn't want to. I guess I don't know why he was just using his pistol, but he was just shooting with a pistol. And then he said, okay, so you get done with that one. Then you realize, oh, no, you have to go do that with the other 2 as well. And then you go on the other 2, and they're the exact same. You go through and you do the exact same thing, except the third one puts up more shields, so you have to shoot through more shields, so it just takes longer for you to do the same thing. And I'm like, that sounds fucking miserable.
There's another one for you're trying to find this admiral, and it's the same exact thing where you have to go to 3 separate locations. You defeat the first location. It might as well be, oh, sorry, Mario, the princess is in another castle. Sorry, Shepard, the admiral is in another bunker.
Man, yeah, that would have annoyed the shit out of him. Maybe I'm kind of glad I golden passed this because I just got the main bits of the story and really enjoyed it.
Yeah, but at the same time, now you're not developing a relationship with your squad mates, and then you're not getting the extra things you need to help actually flesh out how great these characters are, which I guess could be a good segue in talking about everyone, because I'll start off. I love every one of these characters. Kaidan, in my personal opinion, might be the worst, but he's not a terrible character. He's just kind of boring. But everyone else, they're wonderful. I absolutely love them.
Spoilers from here on out. Let me just go ahead and throw that out there for the story. Spoilers from here on out, because I do have a question I'm going to ask about that. But Adam, what about you?
So again, this being a revisit for me, and keeping in mind how great the other 2 games are, I thought the writing in this one was fairly subpar compared to the other iterations in the trilogy, of course. But yeah, there's a lack of depth, I think. Like, you can find out everything you need from your squad mates between those main missions that you were talking about, Dalton. So if you just go in, talk to them, and the conversations aren't very long. They're probably only about 3 or 4 dialogue trees or dialogue paths that you can take each conversation. Overall, the characters are good. Kaidan, I thought, had more depth to him than some of the others. Ashley just annoyed the fuck out of me. And the aliens were great. That was my squad rolling forward. Rex and Garrus it was the bro squad.
Yeah, I did that a lot. Anytime, you know what, I'm funny where like I'm playing a video game. It does not matter. But if I'm going into a situation in a video game where it's going to be very, very intense and I have the option to bring my choice of party members, I almost always roll all dudes. And it's not for any reason, sexist reason, other than like, I don't want my waifus to get hurt. And it's so stupid because it's a fucking video game. But I'm like, no. I need to protect y'all. We're going to go in here and take all this ass whooping. I need you guys to be safe.
It doesn't help that they usually have the strongest armor.
Right. So let me just go ahead and throw it out there. I love Garrus. I loved Rex. I love Talia. I think it was her name, Talia.
Tali.
What am I thinking? Talia al Ghul is what I'm thinking of. Yeah, Tali. I really liked them. Blue Girl.
Liara.
I'm so bad with names. Thank you. Liara. She was all right. I wanted more from her, but I think I should have talked to her more. But every time I talked to her, she was like, "Oh, I have a headache. I need to lie down." And I'm like, God, that's what they always tell me. Jesus. But anyway, Caden. Ooh, I just made my mic pop. Caden. I kept him alive. Ashley kind of came off to me like the people that I live around here in the South. I don't know about okay, one of my, like, I won't say my neighbors because my neighbors are actually nice people, but like one of the people who live in my town, let's just say that they happen to, alien races are now a thing. They're gonna be like, I don't trust these goddamn aliens. They're out here trying to take our jobs, and I think they're gonna take over the human race. I think we should all wear tinfoil hats. And we should be scared of these aliens. And I think that, these aliens are not here to make the country great again. And I'm against them. And I think that is how they would react to it. That is the vibe that I got from Ashley, where she's like, I don't trust aliens. Bitch, then what the fuck are you in the space fleet for?
To be fair, I actually kept Ashley alive because everyone is just like, oh, Ashley's a racist. Fuck Ashley. I'm just like, oh, I'm going to go against the curve. I'm going to keep her alive. There is a reason why she is the way she is. It's basically because we have to, in context of the story, humans have only dealt with these alien races and a citadel for 26 years, whereas all these other races have been around for millennia. Hundreds of years, millennia. And actually, when we I know I shouldn't because the lore cast will do a much better job of explaining it, but if I'm just going to keep it as simple as possible, when we discovered the mass relays, we opened a relay that was forbidden, and the Turians came in basically thinking, who the hell are these guys that are just, they don't understand the galactic law. We're going to kill them. So in the game, the Turians fired first. So that's why they look down on humans so poorly. And that's why Ashley's attitude makes so much sense.
Okay.
The only reason that the Turians and humans aren't at war is because the council stepped in and stopped it. And that's also part of the motivation behind one of our villains that you don't actually find out. It's in a prequel novel. Was that Saren's brother was killed by a human in the First Contact War, which is what Jeff was talking about there, which is the start, which is what led him down the path that he takes in the game.
Oh, okay. I learned some shit about Saren too from that video that I watched, but I'll touch on that when we talk about him more. I'm not gonna lie, I fucking hated the ambassador. Like,
which one?
What a bastard. The white cloak motherfucker who I had my admiral guy, captain, punch in the fucking face, knock him the fuck out, and take his computer over later on in the game.
Oh, Udina. Yeah. That guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah, fuck him. Like, there was one thing that Salt Factory mentioned. He said at the end, and again, we were talking about spoilers, so it doesn't matter, but at the end, when you get to choose who gets to be on the council, the dude who's helped you the entire time, or Dickhead, Salt Factory's like, who in their right fucking mind would put Captain Dickhead into the spot? He's been nothing but a shit to you the entire game. Meanwhile, this dude, and in his game, took a bullet in the back to get you off when you're grounded, whereas like in my game, he punched homeboy. I chose the other path. So it's like, who would make, unless you were going straight up asshole run, I guess.
I think that might be the pure renegade.
Okay, see, I think I ended up somewhere not pure of each, because I didn't get the cool ending where I could have ended it with just talking to Saren. I had to fight him twice, right? But it is cool that if you were Paragon enough, and again, I'm skipping way ahead, but it's cool to me that if you were Paragon enough, that in that final battle, you can have a conversation with Saren where he basically tells you, the reason that I've been doing what I'm doing is because I know that this thing has control of me, and I'm trying to figure out how to get it to stop, and it's getting its controls deeper into me, yada, yada, yada. And Shepard talks sense into him, and Saren's like, you're right, Shepard. Thank you. Boom. Blows his own cap off. But then you got to fight him anyway, because video game's going to video game. Like that would have been such an emotional moment to end on. But they had to have a final boss fight.
Of course.
Like they just had to. And it's like, man, like, I understand leaving that fight there, but say if you went full Paragon, they could have let that be an ending where he offed himself and almost like martyred for the goodness of that ship no longer having control of him. Sovereign, is that the name of it?
Sovereign.
Right? Yeah. A lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. When I was thinking of this ship that was not really a ship, it's kind of like a living entity, but almost a ship, I was thinking along the lines of this ship that you and Willie described in Free Space. There's this massive, bigger than you can fucking imagine thing, and then it came out, and I was like, oh, okay, it's like a big octopus.
But to be fair, the side, when you're looking at the rest of the other ships, they are dwarfed by this. It's spoiler. It's a Reaper. It is a proper Reaper.
That's what I kind of figured. Like, I assumed that this ship was probably one of those things that slipped through. I'm assuming maybe when the humans opened up the shit that they weren't supposed to.
Well, again, this is stuff that the lore cast will just go through so much better than we would ever do. But it's he's a harbinger. He's supposed to. The Citadel is a mass relay. When he opens the mass relay, or when he opens the Citadel, it's supposed to allow the rest of the Reapers to start wreaking havoc on the galaxy.
Yeah, coming through and cleansing.
But because you destroyed it, you're delaying the inevitable.
That was the vibe that I got as well, is that it was like, this is like putting a Band-Aid on a situation.
Shepard says it at the end. It's just like, I have work to do because the war is coming. And that's what 2 and 3 are all about.
Now, did y'all have any standout missions? Because I know, like, one of the things that stood out to me right at the beginning was the introduction of Saren, where you think the one guy is going to be the dickhead, and then no, he gets popped in the back of the head by the actual dickhead. And it's like, oh, okay. Well then. So I'm curious, like, because there was one planet that I found more interesting than others, but I'm curious what you guys thought. Adam, what about you first?
Yeah, I've got a few, but I'll keep it short. So depending on the background that you choose, there's one called the War Hero, where Shepard is hailed as the hero from this battle called the Skillian Blitz, in which a terrorist group was going to essentially bomb Earth. And there's a small planet you can find where I think it is just another generic distress signal. But you actually run into the dude that was going to make or was behind the Skillian Blitz all along, and Shepard gets to face off with him.
Oh, that would be bad.
And the other one is one that you bring Kaidan on, and it's why I think he's not a real generic character, because these biotics are holding a politician hostage, because in the military, and again, like Jeff said, the lore cast can go into this way better than I can, Kaidan and a heap of other soldiers were given this experimental biotic thing implant to make them more powerful, to make super soldiers essentially. And it fucked them up. It left them with all sorts of problems, mental, physical, all sorts of things, and the politics just swept it under the rug. So this group of robotics holds this politician hostage, and bringing Kaidan along to that can have a real interesting perspective, because he's like, well, no, I'm with Shepard, ride or die, but I can see where these guys are coming from, because that's what happened to me.
I never considered doing it. I know exactly what mission you're talking about, but I never considered bringing Kaidan with me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like, oh God, when I when I did the mission with the matriarch lady, I didn't
And you brought
have Liara with me. So, like, I didn't get to see any of that between those two. I was like, oh, fuck! I knew I fucked up in that moment, though. It wasn't like I beat the game and was like, damn, I probably missed out on a lot. Like, I knew at that moment, shit, I should have brought her in my party.
My first playthrough, actually, one quick thing. Fun fact, do you know who voiced Matriarch Benezia?
Oh, I feel like I should know this. Jack.
5, 3, 2, 1. Marina Sirtis, Deanna Troi herself from Star Trek.
Oh, nice. I never would have guessed that.
But, so, I know what mission you're talking about. That's the planet Novaria. Yep. I didn't have Liara. When my first playthrough, I didn't have Liara in my group. I think I had Garrus and Rex with me because, you know, those guys are my boys.
Yeah.
We're going to start some shit. But I think Garrus makes the recommendation, hey, we probably should bring Liara with us. It's just like, you know what? That's a good recommendation. I'm going to switch out Rex with Liara.
I should have done that.
Again, another playthrough. It's a short game.
But my favorite planet, you guys can correct me, I think it was Virmire, where you show up and the colonists are being controlled by a plant, quote unquote.
No, that's Pharos.
Oh, is it Pharos? Okay. I really enjoyed that one. It was a lot of running around and doing the same shit over and over. But the story of it, where like there was this thing and the fucking vault tech of this world decides to bring in an entire colony to see, what the fuck's gonna happen? Let's see what happens. And
it's horrible.
It was awful. Yeah. It's like, goddamn, dude. Like rich scientific people. I love science, but rich people and science together, sucks for the normal man. Let's just put it that way.
But yeah, I know exactly what mission you're talking about. That's when you're dealing with the Thorian.
That was the name of it. Yeah, the Thorian.
And that thing, when you learn what's going on, you're just like, oh my god. These are some terrible, terrible, greedy corporate assholes.
Yeah, you meet the one girl and she's like, no, don't destroy it. All my working hard research. And I was basically, that was the one time I did a renegade option where I was basically like, get the fuck out of here or I'll kill you. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And she was like, man, ran off. And I'm like, yeah, bitch, get out of here.
I completely forgot to use my gas grenades on that mission. Oh, no. And I used regular grenades and killed all the colonists accidentally.
Yes. The renegade of slaughter, Adam.
I learned my lesson this playthrough, and I made sure I had enough grenades.
Yeah, I did utilize grenades. I think I accidentally popped one because he startled me, and that's the quickest way to get shot. Even if like you're on my team and you just walk up next to me in my peripheral vision, and I'm like, oh god, bam! Oh, sorry, I feel like Dick Cheney.
But so you mentioned it. You mentioned the net planet, the Virmire. So you guys made your decisions that you kept Caden alive.
Yes.
Adam, I'm assuming you got your Paragon up high enough, or maybe you did the optional mission for Rex where you kept him alive.
Yeah, I did his armor quest this time around because I was talking to him throughout. So
Dalton,
I didn't even have a check.
Did you keep Rex alive?
Yes.
Okay.
I talked him out of it in the beginning, like that conversation where you guys are sitting there and he pulls a gun on you and you're like, whoa now, buddy. Like, let's talk about this. And I convinced him that, like, do you want your race to come back but be subservient slaves? Because that's not really the way that you want to do it, homeboy. And he was like, you're right. Let's kill Saren, that fucking bastard.
Well, it's what we're talking about is we're talking about with the battle arbor. That's Rex's loyalty mission. So if you succeed and bring him back his family battle armor, when you get to that point, unless you are going full renegade and just basically saying fuck the Krogan, it is a guarantee that he's gonna be kept alive.
Oh, well, that's cool. Well, I'm glad that I somehow talked him into it then, since I missed that quest.
Well, like I said, because Rex is a great character, and you see how he progresses in the next 2 games.
Oh, he does stick around? Oh, good. I'm glad. Not to spoil too much, but I'm very worried about one particular mission in Mass Effect 2. See, like, I know you guys didn't want to, like, spoil things for me. I know all of this shit from this trilogy from just watching videos about it over the years. But to play through it myself, I'm real worried about that one mission. There's one in particular.
Everyone knows it.
Yeah, and I'm just like, man, I might have to like look up a guide to make sure I don't make any wrong decisions, but at the same time, I want it to happen organically. I didn't use a guide with 1, so I don't want to use a guide for 2 and 3.
But yeah, that's all I could say is upgrade and just try to use logic when doing it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Fair enough. Couple other things that jump out to me. One of the little side quests I did that made me giggle out loud was on the Citadel, and I'm running around, and there is a what's Garrus's race's name again? I'm sorry.
Turians.
There is a Turian arguing with what looks like a brain with tentacles, right? And the brain, I don't remember that alien race, but he's basically trying to spread his religion. And the Turian's just like, listen, shut the fuck up unless you go get a pass that allows you to do this. Like, you are breaking the law. And he's like, I should not have to pay you to spread the religion of I don't know, the Mormon aliens or whatever they are. Like, let me just spread this to who? And the guy, Shepard walks up. He's like, okay, everybody calm down. How can I defuse this situation? Tell this guy to let me spread my stuff. He can't spread his stuff without a permit. Can I buy his permit? Yeah, sure. Here's the money. Okay. Tell the alien, I will remember this. Thank you. I'm hoping that, like, in Mass Effect 3, there's going to be a big battle, and all of a sudden, just, like, a flood of brains with tentacles come in, like, we remember what you did, Shepard! And they just tentacle sting everyone, like Tentacool. It'll be crazy. Or they could come back and be like, we took over the Earth because of you. Bad ending achieved. I don't know.
Again, Lorecast explains them. Because they're not fighters. They try to live as polite as possible.
I did meet one who wanted me to sell guns illegally, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't rat him out, though. I ain't no rat.
And he did it in such a polite way.
Yeah, he really did. He's like, excuse me, if you have the time, could I have you take these black market guns and sell them? It is not allowed here. I do not want you to get in trouble, but you seem to be capable. Oh, I tell you what, I'll come back on that, man. Because at the time, I'm like, no, I want to be a good guy. And then there were just some people that needed that asshole response. And I feel like that's really where BioWare succeeds in their choices in writing. But at the same time, this game suffers from something that a lot of RPGs do with dialogue choices. And Jeff, I know you absolutely detest L.A. Noire, and L.A. Noire is notorious for this. There were certain responses that I would give where it, like, until I realized that upper was Paragon, lower was Renegade, middle was kind of just in the middle or whatever. I was just choosing what I would say in a conversation. And it would be like, disagree with them. And I'd be like, yeah, I don't really agree with that. I'm going to hit disagree with them. And you click that and Shepard would be like, listen here, go fuck your mother and your sister. I hope they die. And you're like, whoa, what? Better, that's like I think there's a mod in Skyrim to give your replies what they're actually, no, not Skyrim. Maybe it was a Dragon Age game. Fuck, I don't remember what game it was, but there was a game I was playing that had dialogue options. Oh, it was Fallout 4. There's a mod that actually puts what your character is going to say, and then you can choose because you don't get these arbitrary, like, good, bad, indifferent choices that then your character says something that you would never want your character to say.
And I think that's something that BioWare is notorious for. You're either a golden angel on the Paragon side, or you're like a world killer dominator on Renegade. Like, yeah, it's very black or white, and it's something that BioWare doesn't do the best of throughout all their games,
even in Dragon Age. Yeah.
My Shepard, I played neutral because my background was you guys. I think what was your backgrounds? There were 3 to choose from. There was Soul Survivor, War Hero, and Ruthless. Which one were you guys?
I want to say I did War Hero.
Yeah, I did War Hero.
I was Ruthless. So my Shepard was basically just playing it as neutral as possible, where it's just like, yeah, he'll give out some nice answers, but at the same time, it's like, my Shepard will kill if it means that if it's going to protect civilians. So even though at the end of the game my Paragon was damn near through the roof, I still made enough renegade decisions where it's just like it sort of evened itself out.
Word up, gentlemen. Is there any other big things you want to touch on? Like, I know, like, the overarching story, we can either like touch on that or we can leave that for people to find for themselves. That's kind of up to you guys. But we've covered a good bit. Is there anything else that really jumps out to you that you wanted to touch on?
Yeah, the romance.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Just quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I missed out on it completely, so I wasn't even thinking about it. So, yes, please, regale us with titties, sir.
All right. So I romance Liara because, and again, no, I won't say that. Don't worry. She's one of the easier characters to romance. I think it being a 2007 game, the options are very, very lacking, and they've locked it into cis straight kind of romances. So as a male Shepard, you can only romance Liara and Ashley, and as female Shepard, you can only romance Caden and Liara because the Asari go for everyone. I'm still disappointed to this day you couldn't romance Tali as Shepard, but I think there might have been some age stuff there. I've forgotten how old Tali's meant to be. The fact that a male Shepard can't romance Tali in the first one still irks me a little bit.
I learned a fun fact.
I can understand why they did it.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no, that's okay. I was just going to say I can understand why they did it if Tali's meant to be underage or whatever.
I didn't realize that.
But yeah, I just think Liara falls for Shepard way too easily, at least in this first one, and it's super easy to do the romance, and the sex scene is not worth the controversy it got.
The video I watched today, one of the things that he talked about was the Asari, and what I didn't realize, again, because I didn't really talk to her all that much other than, cutscene stuff, is that they're all gender neutral. Like, some of them refer to themselves as he, some of them refer to themselves as she, but they all look like females. Mm-hmm. And to reproduce, they basically just form a strong mental connection with somebody, and then their body produces a baby inside of it. And I guess she was kind of an outcast because both of her parents were Asari, and that was like looked down upon because I guess they want to spread genes into other races. Was that the concept of it?
That's correct. Yes, they being what I think they call pureblood it's a great taboo because you're not contributing to the advancement of the Asari. Whereas if you mate with another alien race, whatever traits come from that reproduction can then go into not the Asari as a whole, but that trait can then continue
for generations.
For generations.
Yeah. Okay. See, that's really cool to me. Like, that is a cool sci-fi concept. Like, for sure. And the whole just I'd still fuck one. Like, the Asari are pretty fine. Even the green one that got spit out by the Thorian, I was like, meh, would be a little slimy, but would, why not?
And I wish this game was more like Star Trek in that way, because I think, and Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong here, you don't actually sleep with the consort if you complete her quest. Correct. So there's only your one romance option that you can seduce during the whole game.
Correct.
Whereas
yes.
Shepard needs to be like Kirk and bang in all the alien bitches.
Yeah, all that consort does is just basically it gives you like a fortune cookie.
Oh, is that yeah, okay, the chick who's like, you have to go and take care of what's his face?
She has like some sort of scandal that she wants taken care of. It's like, if you do this for me, she implies, she's like, I'm going to do something very wonderful for you. Something, it's just like, ooh, okay, here we go.
I did that, and I was going to get a happy ending, and I got fortune tell.
A fortune cookie, essentially.
But yeah, I remember doing that because, I had to go convince the general he wasn't a big piece of shit. He was just drunk in the bar. Just, listen, you're a commander, motherfucker. Act like it. He's like, you're damn right I am. I'm like, damn right, soldier. Get back out there. Level up. Da-da-da-da-da-da. That's a joke for the JRPG Report listeners.
Hey.
Who'd you romance, Jeff?
I romanced Liara, and I have to say, nice butt.
Oh, I do fully plan on, when I get to Mass Effect 2 and 3, using those mods that restore butt shots.
And
yeah, that's right.
They do allow more allow more options in the later games. It's just because Mass Effect 1 was just trying to get its foot in the door, trying to establish everything. They just kept everything, minimized everything, so that's why it's only just Ashley, Liara for male Shepard, and Kaidan and Liara for fem Shep.
I remember Rosie from PlayStation Access was talking about Mass Effect and talking about how she was playing through Mass Effect 2 and really wanted, I think she was trying to romance Garrus. I don't remember 100%, but she was trying to romance one of the characters, and then she ends up getting into a cutscene with Kaidan, and she's like just trying to be nice to Kaidan because she wants the Paragon run and everything. And all of a sudden, like, she said that they start kissing, and she's like, "Oh no, Kaidan, no, I don't like you like that. What are you doing?" And then all of a sudden, her character and Kaidan are getting it on, and she's like, "No, it's not what I meant to do."
Well, that's on her because she got too close with Kaidan and not close enough with Garrus.
Apparently so. And then Dave from PlayStation Access, much like me, played through the entire trilogy. I haven't done that yet, but he played through the entire trilogy. Never got the option to romance anyone. No one ever seemed interested in his Shepard. Which is just tremendous. But yeah, there are certain aspects of this game that I think could have improved for sure. But like as the first in the series, like even this being a remaster, like I think for it being a first game, it set a good foundation for things to come. The same way I kind of feel about Dragon Age Origins. Story is really good, but as far as gameplay wise, it was laying a foundation for later Dragon Age games to kind of improve on that. And I don't care what anybody says. I like Dragon Age 2.
But you're absolutely right. This is a great benchmark for how to start the series. And Dalton, this series only gets better from here.
Well, good. Well, good. Let's do some final thoughts if you have them, gentlemen, and we can get into some ratings. And then, Jeff, you said you have a short little quiz.
I do.
And then we have a couple questions, and then we can get on out of here. And I'll tell everybody what my pick for my next game is. So, any final thoughts, gentlemen, before we get into ratings?
No, I think we covered everything. I think it's stuff that we'll get into when we do our ratings.
Okay. Well then, I'm going to run and take a quick piss. If you two want to vamp for a second about some Mass Effect, and then we can get into ratings. I'll be right back. I'm literally about to pee my pants.
Well then, what should we continue on? What? Like what?
So had you had? Oh, you go.
No, you first. I was just going to ask, like, what mission did you like more, Pharos or Noveria?
Ooh.
Actually, that's something that we should probably wait for Dalton. But the Rachni Queen, did you let her go, or did you kill her?
I'll let her go.
I did as well. And I actually had Rex with me during this time, and the entire time he was trying to push me, Shepard, you understand what my people went through to try to kill this thing. And so he was not happy with me when I was just like, let him free. It's just like, all right, Shepard, this is on your ass if things go south.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that would have been interesting. Yeah, because I definitely had Liara, but I had Liara and Garrus, I think, because I wanted to space out the biotic and tech powers evenly.
No, my first playthrough, I had Garrus and Liara as well, but this time, like, no, let's change it up a little. Let's bring in my boy Rex, and all of a sudden it's just like, oh, there's extra dialogue because Lorecast, there's history. Dalton. Question that I just thought of. When you're on Noveria, fighting the matriarch, the Rachni Queen, did you let her go or did you kill her?
Oh, I let her go.
Yeah. Okay.
I let her go because I was like, when she raised that body and was talking to me, I didn't get the sense of a threat from her. Now, I could be wrong. I think that could come back and bite me in the ass a game or two later. But for now, I was like, she seems all right. And I think the Citadel were pissed off at me about that. But, at this point, the Citadel can eat a fat dick. They were not helpful at all throughout the entire fucking game. So fuck them. I did save them, though.
You just answered my question. I saved them as well. Adam, what about you?
No, fuck them. I hung up on them every opportunity I got, and I killed them.
What happened?
Hell yeah!
Then I do not know.
They just get replaced by other counselors from the same races.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay, that's a little anticlimactic, but still. That's fucking hilarious. And again, one of my favorite lines, because I had him punch guy, as I think we all did. When you're given the choice between choosing who you're going to put up onto the council, and you give it to the commander or admiral, whatever he was, the other guy's like, "Are you serious? he solves problems with his fists. And he goes, only with you. And I was like, yeah, get his ass.
I chose Udina.
Did
you monster.
But it's a spoiler why.
Oh, okay.
Jeff would know.
Why? Then I will not ask until I play more of the series. Or I'll find out and be like, oh, god damn it.
It does that thing that Dragon Age does, where not necessarily the moral choice at the beginning is what you need to do to get the best outcome, potentially.
Oh, damn. Now, when I load in Mass Effect 2, is it going to be like how it is in Dragon Age, where it kind of loads in what happened to shape the world into, or is this more of a direct sequel than Dragon Age 2 was to Dragon Age 1? Because I've read that Dragon Age 2 was not supposed to be Dragon Age 2, that EA or whoever it was made them make it Dragon Age 2, that it was supposed to be Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age something or other, and then Dragon Age Inquisition, Dragon Age whatever. Like, they were supposed to be separate games, but in the same world.
No, 2 is a direct sequel. It was programmed and developed to be a direct sequel.
Okay, so choices are going to matter more than just shaping the world. Okay,
like I said, all of the consequences and choices you made in 1, they will affect the rest of the trilogy.
That's rad. I like that.
Even some things from 1 don't happen till 3, which is nice.
Well, god damn it. I'm going to have to play more Mass Effect at some point.
As you should.
I guess so. All right, boys, let's do some ratings. Now that I've drained my bladder, I tried to make it as long as possible, and I was sitting here, I'm like, dude, if I cough right now, I'm going to piss all over myself. So let me go run and take care of this real quick. Thank you for vamping. Jeff, let's start with you, buddy. What would you rate Mass Effect?
Well, I love this game a lot, but there are some problems with it. As I stated earlier, the repetitiveness does affect this a lot. But I'm not going to say, oh, it ruins the game. It doesn't. Not one bit. The dialogue conversations you have with your squad mates, I agree with Adam. They are a bit more on the bland, basic side. But it's establishing a whole new universe. I don't know how... You get what I'm saying. It's just... Yeah. It's trying to start something new, but in a very unique sort of way. So the choices they made during development or as the game progresses, I don't agree with, but luckily, like the driving, the tank does not return. This is the only time you have to drive the Mako. So, but in terms of as a whole, I give it an 8.5.
All right.
A strong B. It's a strong showing. It does have some issues that do get corrected as the series progresses.
All right, then. I do want to say real quick, correct me if I'm wrong, it's Mass Effect 2 that everyone loves the map music, right? There's just the music that plays when you're on the map screen.
Mm-hmm.
I have had that come up in like just relaxing video game music videos, and I'm like, oh man, I might just sit on that screen for a little while and just let it play.
Just a quick insert, since you're talking about the music, which is great in this game.
Yeah, for sure.
2 that stand out most to me is when you're on, I think the planet is called Therum, which is when you find Liara. You have a little boss battle with a Geth armature, I believe it is called. The background music, if you go on YouTube and look up A Very Dangerous Place, that's the music that's playing during that boss battle. It hits hard. It is great. But in terms of music that I just love to... I actually fell asleep to it. It's just so calm and peaceful. And it plays specifically in the Citadel, where it's called the C-Sec Academy.
Yeah.
It's just this nice, calm, relaxing music. It was like an hour-long video on YouTube. And I hit play, and I fell asleep like 5 minutes later.
Oh, man, we're doing ratings. There's one other thing I meant to bring up and forgot. You mentioned the Citadel. When I first got to the Citadel, I ran around that motherfucker for like an hour, having no idea where to go. And I even talked to the VI, the virtual intelligence. She didn't really help me all that much. It wasn't until I ran around and accidentally found all of the transit things that it was then way easier to make my way around. But like, dude, trying to find where the fuck the Normandy was took me. I ended up having to Google it. Where's the Normandy and the Citadel? Oh, you have to go to the CSEC Academy and then the elevator's there. I'm like, oh, well, fuck, I was there an hour and a half ago. I didn't remember that shit.
The layout of the Citadel gets better, too.
Thank God. Thank God.
Anyway, ratings.
Yes, Adam, what about yours, my good sir? Or you got more, Jeff?
No, that's it. Adam,
okay.
You go.
Oh, damn it. I was hoping you guys would talk for longer because I'm really tossing up between two scores.
I can go next. That's fine.
Yeah, if that's okay.
So I liked this game. I didn't love this game, but I quite liked it. I am now interested in seeing 2 and 3 because I know that it only improves, as you guys have both said. And I think that this game, and like we've already mentioned multiple times, this game laid a really nice foundation for a good story to be told. And there is definitely room for improvement with the gameplay, which means it can only get better. I don't see how that they would have made gameplay worse and people loved them more. So I am very much looking forward to that. I remember Mass Effect 3, watching my friends play that multiplayer. The combat looked way more fluid than this one. So I do look forward to that as well. But there were just a few nagging things that bothered me enough in this to knock it down a couple pegs. So Jeff, you gave it an 8.5. I'm going to give it a just straight 7. It's a good base. It's almost a 6.5 for me, but like the music in it knocked it up just enough. I think that this game had the opportunity to fail had it had not been as well written as it was. That being said, Adam, you saying going back nowadays you don't think it's as well written compared to the later games, that just makes me look forward to them more because I'm like, yeah, give me more of this good ass story. The fact that the main story was so good that I never really thought to like wander around my ship and talk to NPCs, I was like, I need to see what's going to happen next. That's the mark of a good game, because now I could load it back up, activate all the cheats I want in WeMod, and just go in and make that game my bitch and see all of the stuff that I didn't get to see, The only thing I'm not really looking forward to if I do that is Salt Factory and hearing you guys of all the planet driving that's kind of just aimlessly trying to look where you need to go. Salt Factory definitely made a video or a point to point out that was pretty shitty, and he would time-lapse speed up his videos of him just riding around these places looking for the place that he was trying to find. But yeah, I give it a solid 7. I'm looking forward to seeing where it can go from here.
Okay. So, I'm going to start off my rating with saying that I am a BioWare simp. They do a lot of great things and great work. And the original when I played it back in 2007, I was absolutely in love with it. There's a reason why I've played this game 4 times. They had a lot of time to come back and do the Legendary Edition to the best standard they could. They had Anthem before this, which was like the biggest flop ever. So BioWare knew what the fans wanted going into the Legendary Edition. They changed some things for the better, 100%. They could have done a complete overhaul on this game instead of a fresh coat of paint, though. I can definitely see where the great things in this game are. The story, the characters, the music, even the visuals for this coming through on PC for the first time, because I played all these on console originally. Coming through on PC, masterful. Like, I don't have something super top of the line, but just the change you can see. Even going from an Xbox One for the Legendary Edition to Legendary Edition on PC is amazing. The mini games on PC, not so much. I know we didn't talk through the hacking and that sort of thing. I wasn't used to using my mouse to fix those, but that's much for muchness. This game is a slog, I'm not going to lie, for the majority of it, to get as much content as you want to be at Mass Effect 3 and be at the end of Mass Effect 3 and say, I've seen everything this series or this trilogy has to offer. This game, number 1, is a slog in it. So I'm going to give it a 7 overall as well, because it's the first step on a great path.
All right, yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. And Jeff, I'm curious. Don't give them now, but I'm curious with you rating this one an 8.5, where 2 and 3 lie on your scale. But like I said, I don't want to know. I'm sure you'll come hang out for more of the episodes. So
when Mass Effect 2 and 3 come around on the show, I will give my honest answers, and some people might be shocked, but we'll, as another podcast says, we'll get there.
We'll get there. All right, then what is this little quiz you have for us, my good sir?
So, gentlemen, the Normandy. It's a pretty iconic sci-fi fictional ship. Am I wrong? Usually when people say Normandy, or it's like, oh, the ship in Mass Effect. Oh yeah, so iconic. They made it a achievable prize in No Man's Sky.
Did they really?
Yes, they did. That could be a freighter that you could claim.
Well,
so,
cool.
My quiz for you it's just 5 questions. It's just going to be, I'm going to give you a description of a fictional ship, and you have to tell me the name of that ship.
Oh,
now,
no. Okay.
Now, there are 2 hints. I'll always read you the first hint. If you're able to tell me the name of that ship on the first hint, you get 2 points. If I have to tell you, or if I have to read the second hint, then you only get 1 point. Then no answers is no point. So I will try do my best to. I'm just gonna have you guys, when you have the answer, raise your hand. I'll try to catch the first person. If I'm incorrect, I apologize, but I'll try to be as fair as possible. But gentlemen, the fictional ship quiz.
All right. Get your dicks out.
So, question 1, first hint. This ship was built with a prototype FDL gravity drive meant to fold space to greatly reduce travel time, ended up traveling to another dimension. When you have the answer, raise your hand. If you need the second hint, I will read it.
I'm so bad with the names of things. Yeah, I need the second hint. I don't know what item.
Same? All right. The dimension it accidentally went to was of pure chaos. And if you want me to expand on that hint, I will. It was a horror movie.
Oh, motherfucker. What's the name of that?
Adam?
Not Pitch Black?
No.
I don't know the name of the ship, though.
But it's not Pitch Black. You're around the same time, but it was not Pitch Black. Dalton?
All right. I don't know the name of the ship, but I can throw you the movie I think it's from.
All right.
Event Horizon.
The ship is called the Event Horizon.
Yes!
So, Dalton, that's 1 point for you.
That's the movie I've always meant to see because I heard that it just goes batshit crazy at the end, and I want to see it so bad.
It is an enjoyable movie. It's terrible, but in the best kind of way.
Is that Bruce Willis?
That is Sam Neill.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's Jurassic Park, man, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
They smell. They smell. Sorry, that's what I always think of when I think of Sam Neill. Kids smell. They smell.
Is that in Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
I have to rewatch it. But, okay. Question 2. This ship's main mission was to travel to Jupiter to identify a strange anomaly. Now, if you can't name the ship, I will accept the movie. Dalton?
Isn't there a movie called Jupiter Rising?
That is not it.
Damn. I went with the obvious.
Want me second hint?
Yeah, please.
The main computer suffered a major malfunction which resulted in the death of the crew. It is a very famous movie.
I want to give Adam a chance again before I raise my hand again.
Yeah, no.
Dalton?
Is it 2001: A Space Odyssey?
It is 2001: A Space Odyssey. The name of the ship is Discovery 1.
I can't do that, Hal. What a terrifying concept. That all of a sudden the ship you're on, the AI, is just all of a sudden against you, and you're just lost in space.
Yeah.
Fucking terrifying. Okay, continue.
Question 3. So far, Dalton, 2 points. Adam, 0. Question 3. This ship had served 50 years before it was ready for retirement, before it ended up becoming the savior for humanity. Dalton.
Alex, what is the Enterprise?
Incorrect.
Damn it! I was so cocky about it, too.
Is
Adam.
it Serenity?
Is it what?
Serenity?
It is not.
Second hint.
The attack on humanity was so fierce, only approximately 50,000 humans remained. Truncate silence will fix this.
Oh, man. Only 50,000 humans remained. You said we can get it if we name the movie. Are they also TV shows?
This is a TV show.
Battlestar Galactica.
Battlestar Galactica.
Yes! Because I'm thinking, I'm like, was it the Cylons?
Really? Only 50,000 after the Cylons?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Well, yeah.
Yep, there were. I think it was the 12 colonies. They were all basically destroyed, and all that remained was 50,000 people. And Galactica, which had served for 50 years, ended up becoming the flagship to protect the fleet.
I remember my buddy Dustin getting really into wasn't there a reboot to Battlestar Galactica, like in the early 2000s?
That's the one I watched. It ended up on Sci-Fi. That is a fantastic show. It is actually my favorite sci-fi show.
Was it the ending of the show or just a particular episode where there was like this whole conspiracy about Cylons looking like humans and then they were integrated into society?
They introduced that in the start of the show.
Okay, so that might have been it. Then I caught it on the first episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
The show started with 2 mini-series episodes. Like they were like an hour. They were kind of like movie-style shows. And then the first episode officially was called 33.
Okay. I remember the smoking blonde robot.
Mm-hmm. Who, let's just say she makes an appearance later on in Mass Effect.
Word.
Yeah.
All right. Question 4. This ship sacrificed itself and its crew to help an enemy fight off a common foe because it was the right thing to do and just so there could be a chance for peace between these two races. Now, I won't accept if you don't know the actual suffix of the ship, that's perfectly fine, but if you can name if you could just name what it was called, I'm perfectly fine. Happy with that. Or if you can name the show. I will read the second hint. Yep.
Yes, please.
Yep.
All right. When it traveled forward in time, it met its successor that bears the same name.
Star Trek Next Generation?
It was the Enterprise C, and it ended up coming face to face with the Enterprise D.
This whole time I've been wanting to say the Enterprise for every single one of them, and the one time that I'm like, no, I'm not gonna say it. It was the fucking answer. I'm trying to think because I was racking my brain. I'm like, I know there's First Contact where they meet the old crew meets the new crew, and then there's like the J.J. Abrams thing where they meet old Spock and I should have known. Anyway, okay, Adam on the board.
Adam on the board, and Adam, you can tie this with if you can get this question, the last question on the first hint. At the start of this movie, this ship was on screen for 1 minute and 42 seconds before the scene changed.
Oh my fucking
Star Wars
God.
New Hope. Oh, sorry, I jumped in.
No,
I didn't
you're
raise
fine.
my hand.
Adam, go ahead.
Yeah, Star Wars and New Hope.
Incorrect.
Oh.
Dalton.
That would be the ship from Spaceballs. At the beginning of it, it is just absurdly long.
Spaceballs 1.
Spaceballs 1. Okay. Yeah. As soon as you were like, it was on screen for a minute and a half, I'm like, oh yeah, I know immediately. I've seen that movie so many times that it has to be that, unless there was a movie that went out to beat that scene.
And just for shits and giggles, the second hint was its special ability is going from suck to blow.
Oh my God, they've gone
I
platinum.
would have known then, yeah.
But gentlemen, that is my fictional ship quiz.
Hell
Well
yeah.
played, Dalton.
I liked it.
So final score, Dalton 5 and Adam 1. And what's the prize? I don't know. Nothing.
A whole jack of shit.
Whole jack of shit. But well done, gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed it.
So I'm going to peruse through some of these here questions that we got because some of them are mixed in with others. I don't remember what we answered on Katamari. I don't think we did any, but there are a lot. I'm going to try to maybe avoid the ones with pictures at least the ones that'll be hard to describe. So I'll start with one that came in from Mr. Grumpy Syllables himself. One has to go. Buffalo wings, hot dogs, brownies, or spaghetti and meatballs.
Spaghetti and meatballs.
All right, what about you, Adam?
Yeah, spaghetti and meatballs for me as well.
Oh, man. Okay, so the inner child in me wants to say spaghetti and meatballs because once when I was very young, I ate spaghetti and meatballs, and later that night got a tummy ache and threw up and was pulling spaghetti noodles out of my nose, like long ways. So for a long time, I was very against spaghetti. I've kind of gotten over that now that I'm older. I can eat spaghetti again. But let me tell you, if there is one thing on that list that I can do without because there are so many other delicious, delectable, delicate desserts that are better, I'm getting rid of brownies. I love a brownie. I love a middle brownie. People who love edge brownies, there's something odd about them because you just like the taste of burnt chocolate. That's my problem with brownies, is that more often than not, because I'm not a professional, I don't know how to make a perfect brownie. So when I make brownies, most of them taste like burnt chocolate, except that little section in the middle that's delicious. Mm-hmm. If I could get a brownie, cake, or however you make brownies to be all like that, I would change my mind. But right now, brownies can go.
Reason I say spaghetti and meatballs, because baked ziti is the best pasta.
Ziti is fucking good. I'll take ziti over lasagna any day. Lasagna is just a fucking spaghetti cake. All right, so what's next? Let's see here. Would Steam... This one comes in from Kana. Would Steam Machine podcast fan fiction be called Steam Ships?
Well, yeah.
I think so. Or...
Steam shipping.
Steamy encounters of the third kind. We fuck aliens up in this bitch.
Especially the blue ones.
Yeah, Abu Dida Badai. Yeah, steamships isn't bad though. Like I like a or like a steam engine. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Adam?
Yeah, did I answer that one in the chat? Because I'm pretty. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, I got no problem with it.
All right then. So would you stay in a bathroom, gentlemen? And Adam, this one you did answer in the chat.
Yeah.
Would you stay in a bathroom? Oh, this comes in from Dane. Full of roaches. I mean, absolutely slap full of cockroaches for 24 hours and get $75 million.
Yes.
And the meme jokingly says, 75 million? I'm going to know every roach personally. Be careful with Benjamin, man. He got asthma. So, Jeff, you say yes.
Absolutely. Because the picture does not specify I can't protect myself. So who's to say I just won't cover myself in a giant blanket or something?
Okay, so I want to say, on the Lost episode of Katamari, this was an argument that I put forth. It does not say that you cannot defend yourself, but it is probably assumed that you can't crush them. You have to just sit in there with them.
Oh, that would change my answer then. If I had to sit there, probably not.
Bruh. Well, let me just go ahead and say, $75 million, I would let someone put a cockroach up my asshole. And it could crawl around until I needed to poop.
I'd actually find a way to open up the inside of that cupboard, get everything out, and I'll just squeeze in there for 24 hours.
I said I would sit on the edge of the toilet, right? Put my knees together, put my hands down on my legs, and just shut my eyes and mouth and just try to... But then that's all I'm going to focus on is feeling them crawl on me, right? But that little thing in my head is like, every time you feel a little bite, every time you feel them crawl on you, you feel them getting into like sniffing your ear and shit. Bro, that's $75 million.
Well, and it also says just stay in the room. That door is open in the picture. I'd be ripping that motherfucking toilet out of the floor and letting that thing flood.
Right? Yeah. It's like, at least then, like, your feet will be underwater. You don't have to worry about the roaches swimming. They're going to float.
Yeah.
So, and then it's just a game of pushing them away on the top of the water. Get away. Get away.
Or just cover yourself in a blanket.
Or you could like get funny with it, where it's like they open up the door to come in to let you out, and you're just like covered in roaches, holding the skull, saying Shakespeare, because there's a skull in the picture randomly with like a really creepy picture of what looks like the Ring girl next to it.
Oh my god, I didn't look that far into the picture. You're right.
Yeah, it's very odd, but all right. This next one comes in from Kana. Since Dalton has the My Dear Friend Nokotan opening stuck in his head, which I believe we talked about before we even came on air, what are some other earworms from anime or otherwise that you enjoy?
Speed Racer.
Yes.
Speed, go, Speed.
Digimon.
And I think...
go ahead, Adam.
I think Paul talked about it when you guys did Yakuza 4, I want to say. That Mashal Season 2, Muscles and Magic Season 2 opener. Bing Bam Boom, I think it's called. That thing is just, yeah, it gets stuck in your head for hours.
Oh, man.
Cowboy Bebop, that's my other one.
I know no one would ever see this coming, but the music from Persona 5, right? Like, just, you never see it coming. You see that my mind is just too fast for us. It's so catchy. That's the battle music. You hear that probably at least 2,000 times playing through that game if you're not grinding. And it never once got old. That is a key of a catchy-ass song with lyrics, because hearing it as much as you did, and also from Persona 5, the song is called Beneath the Mask, and it's the song that'll play kind of just on your mundane days doing stuff with your friends and stuff. And there's a different there's a normal version with singing, there's an instrumental version, And then there's a version with singing, but there's also rain playing in the background for the rainy days in the game. But you can actually listen to that on the soundtrack, and it has the rain in the background, and it is one of the most relaxing fucking experiences just listening to that song with the rain playing. It's very smooth. So good. Yeah. My dear friend Nokotan, Shiku Noko 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 Koishitanda, just gets stuck in my head like crazy. And I guess it's not an opening theme, but I will randomly, my brain will just go Konosoba, because throughout the episode of the anime, it's like when they would go to a commercial, like somebody in the cast or the whole cast would just go Konosuba, and my brain just does that sometimes.
I finished season 1 the other week from your and Kana's recommendations from that, and yeah, have to agree.
It's funny,
that
dude.
anime, yeah.
Darkness cracks me the fuck up.
Also, the new Persona 3 Reload, the new battle music in that, they've remastered it, and it's fucking amazing. It's mint. Man, I could listen to that.
I got that on Steam. I have it installed. Have not opened it yet. I need to, though. I just know that
Let's play it, brother.
That's a wormhole. All right, one comes in from Dane. If you were a spiky-haired anime protagonist, what genre do you think you'd exist in?
I guess it would be anime be a sci-fi for me.
we're gonna throw Jeff in Elfenlied.
I don't know what that is.
You don't want to get thrown in Elfenlied. No, I picture Jeff like in a Gundam. I could see that.
Just throw me in the Pokemon world.
There you go. Grocer Jeff
for
wants
me,
to battle.
I would like to be, I guess, similar to Star Ocean. So slight spoiler for every Star Ocean game. From a futuristic world and then moving to more of the fantasy setting, like they do in a lot of those games, or at least the ones I've played, where they kind of go either back in time or to an underdeveloped planet.
Yeah, I think all of them but 5.
Okay.
But I have not played the newest Star Ocean. I still really want to, but I just haven't gotten around to it. But dude, that fucking remaster.
I think Divine Force does that. Yeah.
Yeah. What genre of anime would I be in? Dude, I mean, as much as I watch isekai, right? But I like specific types of isekai shows. I'm a dirty perv. I like harem shows. I think they're hilarious. So like, I just want to be in a harem anime. Even if I end up in one of the ones where it's like none of them actually want to do it with me, that's fine. The humor is what I'm there for, really.
What's that meme where it's like reincarnate in a harem, but you're the girl?
Yeah. Oh man, I watched an anime called Peter Grill and the Sorcerer's Time or something like that. It was Peter Grill and something, and it was hilarious. It's a fucking harem anime. It's a harem anime where he ends up in this harem, but all he wants to do is be faithful to his woman that he wants to marry. And he keeps getting fucked by these other species because he's the most powerful warrior in the land, and they all want to mate with the most powerful warrior. None of them want to be in a relationship with him. They're like, we just want your seed. And he's like, no, I just want to marry my lady. And he keeps getting put in these situations where like there's 2 naked demons taunting him while he's sitting at the table with his lady, and like one of the demons is under the table playing with his junk. You don't see that part. It's insinuated. And he's trying to hold it together. Then her father comes walking up and starts talking to him. And he's just like, yeah. It's a funny ass show. Don't watch it with kids around, but it's a funny ass show. I reckon that's a lot of the anime that I watch. Don't watch it with kids around, but it's funny.
Sounds good.
Do I want to do next? Oh, I don't. Oh, never mind.
Sorry, I just had a little person come in.
Uh-oh.
No, quite all right. I didn't know if you had to get up to pee and we're trying to be polite and not say it out loud like I did. Where I was just like, boys, I gotta piss. I gotta be back. All right, so next one is from Jeff. You got 4 Take 2. We got 4 cheeseburgers to choose from. You got a classic cheeseburger, a bacon cheeseburger, a mushroom Swiss burger, or a barbecue burger. Now, I want to point out that in this selection of pictures, if you guys happen to be looking at them, there is no burger patty on that barbecue burger. That is a barbecue sandwich. But I have had a burger with barbecue pork on the burger, and it's pretty fire. Just keep that in mind. I love a mushroom and Swiss. I love a bacon cheeseburger. I love a barbecue burger. But you cannot, in my opinion, beat a good classic burger. Like if I go to a place, it's kind of like when I go to a pizza joint. I want to try a slice of cheese pizza. Let me see what you can do with the most basic of ingredients. Let me see how your dough tastes. Let me see how your sauce tastes. Same with burger places. When I go there first, let me just get a regular ass burger. Let me see what you can do with it before you start adding a whole bunch of other stuff on there to make it taste better. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go with the classic.
My answer is mushroom and Swiss. Sorry to jump in because I'm just going to duck out for a few moments after that, but that's my answer. Yeah, you can't go wrong with mixing kind of different stuff with a burger. Yeah. Like I've eaten beef burgers for like the last 32 years. Give me something different to mix stuff up, so I'm going to go mushroom Swiss for that one.
Mushroom Swiss is tasty.
I am definitely going bacon cheeseburger, just because that is the best food.
See, I'm one of those weird people that I feel like bacon can overpower things. So, like, I'm not always in the mood for a bacon cheeseburger. I do appreciate them, though. Like, I will go get a triple baconator sometimes and pound that motherfucker and then hate life for days after. But, all right, so up next comes from Adam. So, I think he can still hear me, even though he can't respond. He's asking me, are the red lights in the keys for baby turtles legit? And I believe that you were asking about where down in the keys where all of the sea turtles are born and then they all make their way to the water. That sometimes they have to make their way over roads and they have red lights that turn on. Or you're talking about maybe they turn on red lights at the beach whenever it's that time so people stay off of it. Either way, I've never been to the keys, but I'm going to assume yes, because there is a lot of conservation stuff about turtles, especially on the beach. Like where I live, we don't necessarily have beach turtles, but we have gopher turtles, and they're considered an endangered species, I believe. But they're protected, one of the two. So like, if a gopher turtle makes a hole in your yard, congratulations, you now have a gopher turtle living in your yard because you can't move it legally. They're not invasive; they move on. You know what I mean? They're chill. But I do not think. I don't know. I think the red lights are good. Oh, now that you're back, do you want to clarify what red lights you're talking about? Because I don't know if you mean like on the beach or actually like red lights to stop cars for turtles crossing the road.
Yeah, so there's a bit of context for this. So I've been watching, what's it called? The new crime mystery drama with Vince Vaughn, Bad Monkey. And it's set in Florida. And they have these red light, porch lights are red, the lights of establishments are red, and they run with the gag that it's so the turtles don't get drawn to them and get run over by cars when they do their hatchlings.
I want to say that that's correct, because the hatchlings, when they come out, I believe they follow the lights reflecting off the ocean, and like there can be a lot of hatchlings, you know what I mean, and they're protected, so they do whatever they can to get those turtles safely from the beach to the water.
Yeah, cool.
So I would assume that.
Sorry, it's set in the Keys.
Yeah, I've never been to the Keys, but I've always wanted to go there. It's just one of those places I haven't been. All right, next one comes in from Kana. Have you ever wrote fan fiction? So have you ever written fan fiction?
Yes, I have.
All right, I don't think I have.
And I have as well.
Well, do I want to know?
It's pretty tame.
Okay, give me what it was about. You don't have to give me the details, but like what show was it about or...
Oh, so it was just a ship from an anime that I thought should have happened but didn't.
Okay, and Jeff, I'm going to guess yours. Did it have to do with a character from Star Fox?
Yes, it did. But I also did one for Pokemon as well.
Misty and Brock?
No, Ash and Dawn.
Oh, okay.
What should have happened in the anime.
Exactly.
I agree, Jeff.
Exactly.
And so that question was followed up. No, that's the end. All right, so it looks like then, gentlemen, all that is left is me telling you what my next pick is, and then us wrapping up with the the show notes and stuff and getting out of here. Ooh, what did I just do? Okay, there we go. So I've been in an anime mood lately. I've been in an RPG mood lately. So what better to do than combine those two? And I had two choices, and it came down to two different animes. One that I'm more familiar with than the other. So I went with the one I was more familiar with. And we are going to be playing Dragon Ball Z Kakarot because it's been sitting in my library. I've been meaning to play it because I grew up with Dragon Ball Z coming on Toonami. So like I'm familiar with it. Mm-hmm. I have friends who absolutely love that series and tell me I need to watch it. So what a good way to experience it that I can play a game about it and then talk about it on the show. So I believe I want to do a long boy for that one. So I might do the month. So in 2 weeks' time, it's either going to be a Dragon Ball Z Kakarot episode or it's going to be the Mortuary Assistant. And if it's the Mortuary Assistant, then 2 weeks after that will be Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Just kind of depends on how much time I end up wanting to sink into it. And I believe Mikolov will be joining me for that one. So for Kakarot. So that should be fun.
All right.
So until then, let's just run through this quick. If you would please leave us a review over on iTunes or Spotify, it really does help out a lot. Give us a 5-star review. Let us know what you think of the show. I try to read those out whenever we get new ones. So if you want to hear your name and your review read out, go leave it. You want to join the Discord, which I highly recommend. Super cool crew. It's where everyone comes to hang out. bit.ly/TSMP Discord, all capital letters. That will get you a link. Boom, you can join. Come join in on the shenanigans. Vote on the polls. The polls have not changed since the Katamari episode, so don't worry about that. We'll talk about those next time. Check out the website, bit.ly/The Steam Machine Podcast, capitalized phonetically. Thank you, Dane, for keeping that up to date. Patreon, if you would like to donate to the show, which I very much appreciate, especially with me looking for work right now. It really does help, and it means a hell of a lot. Patreon.com/The Steam Machine Podcast. $1 a month gets you the episodes early and ad-free. $10 or more a month gets your name read on each and every episode, like these wonderful people. Nate's or Cogsworth, the 7th of June-iper, Jeff, the original Expendable, Mr. Syllables, old Jeffy, Lube, Ariesoradam. Shout out to his old podcast, Revival and Extinction. Go check out the backlog of that wherever you find your wonderful podcast. Team Retrogue, go check him out over on YouTube. Mr. Puzzles, Dane himself, Chad the Mad Lad, no goddamn seeing his last name, Shaffer, and Flyin Brian, Doran Gray. You all rock some socks, and I don't talk about it often, but if you want to join the Steamy's Best Friend tier, which is $20, you can go through. I will send you a list of the games that are in my log. You can pick one and move it right to the top, and if you have the means to join and want to record and talk about some shit, then we'll hash that out as well. Shout out to YabsPod. Go check out the backlog of that wherever you get your podcasts. I'm sure it'll make you laugh. It was the other day, it was 1 year since we had done the last episode of that. So go and check that out in the archive. Shout out to the JRPG Report, a bi-weekly RPG or JRPG news show that I do. tsmpproductions.threadless.com. Go get you a shirt. Check out my music over at nilethenightmare.bandcamp.com. You can check out one of my albums. Tragedy Idol, The Longing, is up on Spotify. Boys, do you have anything that you want to plug?
Yes, please listen to Dane and Jeff's Media Dump. That's the show where Dane and I just basically bullshit for an hour and a half to 2 hours, just talking about whatever. First episode is released, again, talking about Fallout TV show. Next episode should be coming out next week. We're going to be talking about Red Dead Redemption 1. It's hopefully every 2 weeks, episode will be released. That's it. Just listen to us bullshit.
I will say quickly that I really hope that they do the remaster for Red Dead 1 and it comes to PC, because as much as I'm loving Red Dead 2, when I finally beat that story, I know how it goes, and I want it to just flow right into one. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think that would be a really fun experience.
I don't think it will, because Rockstar abandoned all development for Red Dead Online, so they could put all their focus in Grand Theft Auto 5 and 6. So Red Dead at this point is just basically abandoned.
Oh, so Red Dead is dead.
Yes.
Boo.
Yeah.
Well, what about you, Adam? You got anything you would like to plug, my good sir?
Yeah, so I occasionally write blogs over at the Superpod Saga network. So my last one that I just did was a beginner's guide to every game in the BlazBlue fighting series, with a recommendation for which one would be the easiest for newcomers at the end. And I'm nearly finished. Nintendo stuffed my plans a bit, but I was going to write a beginner's guide to the Trails in the Sky trilogy. But with the remake of that coming out, I would say start with that one.
Yeah.
But it was just going to give an overview, I guess, for those that want to jump into Cold Steel or Zero straight away and not feel completely lost. So that's over at superpodnetwork.com and under blogs there.
Oh, yeah, dude. Well, gentlemen, I appreciate you coming in clutch and doing this episode with me. Willie, enjoy your time out in the jungle, my good sir. Nate, rest in peace. We love you, boys, and we love you all, listeners, and we will be back in 2 weeks to talk to you about, well, either some Dragon Ball Z or me shitting my pants because I played the Mortuary Assistant, which is a scary game. It's a scary game. So we'll see. But until then, everybody, take it easy.